In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how rhythm and tempo define a genre in music. So what is rhythm and what is tempo? Rhythm is a repeated pattern of sound, and the most basic way to create it is to clap your hands. In this particular example, the rhythm is defined by 4 hits evenly distributed per measure. And the measure is defined by the tempo. The tempo is the speed at which a song is played, and this is measured in beats per minute or abbreviated as BPM. To demonstrate how rhythm and tempo define a genre, I'll use 3 types of percussion instruments: a kick, a snare, or in some examples a clap, and a hi-hat. Let's start with an 808 drum kit and set the tempo to 120 BPM. Let's draw a kick on each beat of the bar, a hi-hat in between each of those, and a snare on beats 2 and 4. This familiar pattern is known as a 4-on-the-floor arrangement and is the foundation of all dance music. This includes house, tech house, techno, trance, and all of their many derivatives. If we take away the hi-hats and the last 3 kicks, we are left with what is commonly referred to as the backbeat rhythm. This is the foundation of any drum pattern in any genre, including drum and bass, garage, pop, rock, hip-hop, and trap, as well as the ones already mentioned. There are exceptions to this rule, and we'll look at some of these later. But first, let's consider 2 techniques often used to add interest to a beat and hold the listener's attention: syncopation and velocity. Syncopation is a deviation from a regular expected rhythmic pattern. This can be achieved by adding or omitting beats or varying their velocities. Velocity, in musical terms, is the measure of how forcefully an instrument is struck. If you gently tap a drum, it will make a quiet sound. But if you whack it with all your force, not only will it be louder, but the tonal qualities of the sound will differ too. To demonstrate syncopation, let's reduce the tempo and draw some kicks where we don't expect to hear them. Let's rearrange the hi-hats and adjust the velocities. And we have hip-hop. Add some hi-hat rolls and we have trap. Let's return to the backbeat rhythm. Set the tempo to 110 BPM. Add 2 kicks and a hi-hat on every 8th measure, and we've got rock and roll. And lastly, let's go back to our backbeat rhythm. Set the tempo to 172 BPM, and with just 1 additional kick, we've got the unmistakable sound of drum and bass or jungle. As I mentioned before, there are always exceptions to the rule. For example, this drum and bass pattern does not conform to the backbeat rhythm theory, but is still distinctly drum and bass. Trap and drill drum patterns often have longer cycles and will not conform to the backbeat rhythm theory either. A drum and bass pattern is played at around 170 BPM, but it only has 2 kicks per measure, which makes the rhythm easy to follow. If we play a 4-on-the-floor pattern at 170 BPM, it sounds too rigid and isn't pleasant. However, because of the irregular spacing of the kick drum, a drum and bass loop can be played at a much lower tempo and it will still sound pleasing to the ear. As with all rules, they are there to give you guidance and knowledge about what you're doing and why. But once you've learned them, you can start breaking them and start creating new and original compositions. So go ahead, break some rules.